hello. Thank you for making it to the third and final part of this epic finale. I hope you're having a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, and if you're not, I hope this shit makes it better, yo. In this third and final part, we ran about so many goddamn things, but I declare open hostilities, with the intention of escalating eventually to full-scale war with last week's Tonight John Oliver. You British fuck. I'm gonna pour some fucking tea on the floor in front of him. We also discussed Tucker Carlson hating women and the Pentagon putting him in his place. We discussed the prospect of the military becoming a politicized cult. All kinds of fun, good, phenomenal shit. You already know what it is. We'll get a quick word from our sponsors, then we'll wrap this shit up, yo. This episode is brought to you by Faces Brewing Company. Have you heard of Faces Brewing Company in Malden, Massachusetts? If the answer is no, you're an ignorant slob and you're missing out. Check out FacesBrewingCompany.com for their awesome selection of not only craft beers, but a delicious menu cooked to perfection by illegal immigrants. I'm kidding. Faces Brewer Company, awesome place. Check it out. Check out their company. Grab some gear. Thank God that there are still small businesses out there that can put out more than 3 beers. Variety is the spice of life. Get drunk on everything. Go to FacesBreweryCompany.com. Eat, drink, and be merry, motherfuckers. Enjoy.
We got way off tangent here, and I don't know how, but we did.
Can
We
I,
started with your crisis, and
Can
that evolved into discussions of world wars and those kind of crises.
So can I throw a random dart, or do you have any within these last 10 minutes things on your mind as far as agenda?
No, I was just ready to deal with some of your stuff, because it was, there was a lot there.
Well, I guess the one thing on my mind was what do you think of my war on John Oliver? Because your initial response was go for it, and then you text me that is it worth my time, and I'm like, I don't know, Bob, which is it, man?
Well, I was thinking, first of all, is it worth your time? Anything like that, is it worth your time? And I used to like John Oliver, but I think he's kind of, in my mind, not been that funny lately. Like, over the last year or so.
I never found him funny, but I found him, interesting and, informative for a long time, but I still might watch a John Oliver video here and there. It's just whenever he targets someone he doesn't like, I mean, just the mental gymnastics that aren't even necessary, and it's just really bizarre. And part of it for me is maybe just an opportunity to create content, because I'll send you some shit later, but there are a lot of people who just rant about shit on fucking the internet and they get 100,000 views.
Right.
And I don't care about views, but I feel like on one hand it would be cathartic. 2, it would be a different project than something I've done before. And even if I don't end up posting it or even finishing it, part of me is curious if there's any skills or anything, worth digging out of that. And it wasn't something where I was so fuming with rage where, it's not gonna be some video where I'm if I were to make it, where I'd just be sitting there saying, fuck you, John Oliver, your English teeth, blah. And Tucker's always right, you can't criticize Tucker, and
Was that what you were referring to, the criticism of Tucker Carlson, because I caught that on the John Oliver show.
Right, so what, like, bothered me was just the way he was going after Tucker, and it's not Tucker himself, it's just going after anyone. If Tucker went after John Oliver in the same way, where you're, like, very obviously doing selective listening and all this stuff, like the first minute of the John Oliver clip, you see the picture of the pregnant woman, you know, with the vest on or whatever, and then blah blah blah, Tucker like makes fun of it, and then Johnny boy is just you know, what the fuck's wrong with you, you fucking wet salad, like, don't you think, don't you,
what was that part, what was that about?
What
Lady, you know that.
So Biden, I don't know a whole lot about it, but there's a thing in the fucking Air Force, and this is why
About the uniforms?
Pardon?
About the uniforms?
Yeah, like there were uniforms or body vests or flight suits or something of that nature, and at first it's the most trivial shit on earth, but it taps into an issue that really, really fucking disturbs the living shit out of me, Bob, because first, let me ask you, have you looked really much at all into the Tucker versus the Pentagon thing?
I've heard some of it.
Okay.
And I've also heard a lot of it from military people who agree with him that the military has been significantly weakened because the Pentagon has just been focused on being politically correct.
Right, so the flight suit thing came from... So, according to Oliver, I didn't finish the whole video because, like, I'm not going to watch the whole thing until I decide to do whether or not to do a reaction video, but he mentioned a part where it's like, it was something that was proposed under the Trump administration, which somehow suggests it was Trump's idea, necessarily, but, you know, just add that to the bullet list of, like, bullshit insinuations and all these things going on, but, he says... Okay, so let me back up. The flight suit comes out, Tucker criticizes it, and he asks, like, is this really worth, like, is this really our priority, you know, in the military? And this provoked a really nasty response from, of course, legacy media, and, you know, John Oliver types and CNNs and all that, and the military itself, which is the part that fucking bothers the shit out of me, because, for example, there was some Marine colonel that said, well, Tucker can have his opinion, but this is the opinion of someone who spent 0 days in the military, and I've had 28 years in the military, so fuck, and like, and I
hate it when they do that.
And like, if someone's being like a total jackass, there are circumstances where you can say, dude, you never served, shut up. But like, that same logic, which the left just gleefully jumps on, which is like the most right-wing fucking argument, like, shut up, civilian, like, either serve or shut the fuck up and fall in line, don't question the military. It's right-wing as fuck, dude. Like, everything's an upside-down world, but, I was gonna say one more thing. Oh yeah, but
what was your argument going to be?
Which argument against John Oliver?
Yes.
That he's just a manipulative, lying propagandist.
Okay, there you go. And now who are you going to tell this to? Where would this exchange take place?
With myself in the void.
Okay, in the void. So you necessarily wouldn't be engaged with John Oliver per se.
Oh, no. I never thought for a second that this would be something that would ever reach John Oliver's radar.
Okay.
No, I am not nearly that delusional, Bob.
Okay, that's what confused me. So where would you be doing this? On Twitter?
Just YouTube. Make a video where I play the John Oliver video and I just like, okay, pause, let's just break this down. And like, those kind of, something like that.
Got it, okay.
And I would probably be on camera, but I would be masked up. I don't know what it is, but people just, like will only watch something if they see like a person speaking into a fucking camera. I think it is so goddamn stupid for so much content which is just talk and no
Yep.
nothing visual, but like it's just how some people are. So I'll just dress up like Antifa and half of it I'll just be playing clips of the fucking show anyway.
Right.
So do you think so I guess my plan for that is that if the inspiration takes me, maybe I'll spend a little time on it, but it's really not a big priority for me. But I just thought as far as like generating content and stuff on the channel, if you had any thoughts. And we both kind of like Tucker, so I was wondering if you'd heard shit.
And where would the interest be generated? On YouTube?
The thing is that I can't really expect interest to generate any way other than organically. And just one thing I've heard, and you want to make sure, you're putting out quality, but you do want to consistently just keep putting out content. And just the more you make, the more something is going to, get picked up, or just you'll notice the analytics gear, maybe more towards something. You can say, oh, maybe there's an audience or a niche or whatever there. But for me, it's like a very, very slow boat to China, where it's the equivalent of, being a musician or something. Like, you can be fucking good and great. No one's fucking heard of you. So, like, how do you get people to get to the shows and everything? And the only thing you can do is just keep fucking working. And maybe you have an Eminem moment where you wake up one day and you're fucking the most famous person on earth. But I think for most people, it's like a 5, 10, 15 year, process of just like growing and growing and growing.
But it's either that you are either an overnight success, or you go that path that you're talking about. Most people, it takes a little while to get there. There's a lot of overnight success people just fade out and burn.
Yeah, I don't want to be one of those, and I would never want to be someone like super famous. I always want like moderate success. You know what I mean? Like enough to keep things fed, but enough to keep me out of like the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my ideal level of fame, if any.
Okay.
And I don't care about fame if like I just happen to meet 3 interesting people who have like really good ideas, and like there's just any kind of exchange or whatever. Like that's what it's all about to me.
Yeah, because you're an intellectual person who enjoys the exchange of ideas, thoughts, and the possibility about not so much debating them or just discussing them based on the merits and what they mean to you or to that person who's talking or writing about them. You're an intellectual, Malcolm, and you always will be.
Till I get a head injury.
You get a head injury, yeah. So and the part about 2 things. One is about the need for the visual. That the research they've done on the telehealth indicates that more people prefer to just talk to their counselors or therapists than to have some screen to look at, because they don't have to worry about what they're wearing. The women don't have to worry about having their makeup on and everything else.
I totally understand that, and that makes sense to me. But with making like a video and like making content, there's like lost my train of thought again. But basically the point is just like it's a different kind of pressure. Like where if you had a telehealth meeting, you're expected to talk. If you're watching one of my videos, nothing on earth is going to compel you to say or do anything. You know what I mean?
Yep. And there's nothing more uncomfortable when you're doing a Zoom conference and everybody's picture.
Everyone's just staring into space. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's one person who looks petrified, who has not opened her mouth during the whole thing, but yet is on screen the whole time. And it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah. The other thing is that and definitely this would require a lot more time than we have, is this whole issue about the military, because Tucker Carlson is not off. There are many, many people who are questioning whether the military, by becoming politicized all of a sudden, are truly headed in the wrong direction. Because our military, especially ground troops, has become much weaker by, first of all, having women in the military, a high number of women, and also by sort of not catering to them, but spending time on their issues. We're a weak military right now.
You insensitive asshole, Bob.
Yeah.
No, but like I totally agree that Tucker's basic point is that he said it really great in a response clip where he said, "Hey, making people feel included and valued is a great thing.
Right.
It's not the point of the military. The point of the military is to be a cold, ruthless, highly efficient killing machine, not a ground for social engineering." And the social engineering thing started with Obama. And, it took a back step with Trump, which is why I'm sure, a lot of the military, at least the troops, really liked him. And now we're just going back to it. And the thing that gives me nightmares, I'm not even kidding, Bob, is the military itself becoming politicized to the point where it's not even really a volunteer army so much as like an ideological fucking cult that just happens to have all the guns.
Exactly.
Because that's when we, until for the longest time in my life, I never worried us about seriously becoming like ancient Rome with people personally loyal to generals who happen to be our politicians, and it's just a very different time and setting. But once the oath isn't to the United States of America. The second that oath is given to anything else, any individual or entity, whatever, we're on a bad fucking path, and I don't like it one bit.
I don't either. I think that Tucker's, I don't know if it's his point or not, or someone else I heard was saying that the idea is you only have X amount of dollars in the military to spend on certain things. And if you're spending a ton of it on social engineering or politically correct sorts of things, like how to design a better flight suit for a pregnant woman in the military, and that's taking up your attention and your money, then you're taking away from something else that might be more important. And I agree with that. Sadly enough, I agree with it.
Yeah.
It's not about, the military is to become the biggest, meanest fighting machine you can have. It's not really about, all this social engineering. And that's the issue, I think, that underlies all of this, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like it's like the vehicle. I haven't done a deep dive on it, but there's just the whole trying to create an environment of snitching out quote unquote radicals, within the military. It's I don't like where that's fucking heading.
Well, I see more and more guys wearing, they're, from Vietnam War, for instance, wearing their jackets and stuff, that say Da Nang or something on it. And I asked one of the guys, geez, I see you wearing your stuff a lot more. Geez, I've got to, look at we're going to shit,
Yeah.
We're more concerned about building, the best pregnancy flight suit than, building the best weapons. And I'm thinking, well, okay, it's out there, it's out there, you have to deal with it.
And let me just throw a quick fun fact for you. While I was watching clips on all this stuff, I come across a clip with, I believe it was a female Air Force lady who was talking with Don Lemon, and they spend the whole time just, it's like high school psychoanalyzing Tucker and being like, oh, he's just insecure that he sees these badass women doing what he could never do, and
right.
It's just such shallow, ridiculous shit. But the point why I bring it up is that the person being interviewed said, oh, by the way, we don't actually send pregnant women on combat flights and all this shit, and we have all these rules where we don't do this. And Ben Shapiro went through all these rules where it's you don't have to stand at attention for more than 15 minutes if you're X months pregnant and blah 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 blah. So I'm like, what is even the fucking point of any of this? It's all just, that's why I say, man, I think, whether or not the social engineering thing started from a genuine place or an ideological place or not, it's all just commie fucking tactics of internal dividing, destroy, and keep us distracted and picking at each other over these ridiculous, stupid, nonsensical fucking issues, and not being focused on the real threats and the real task at hand, which, China.
Thank you, Barack Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
Okay, Malcolm, let's wind this down, alright? I'm going to look at my book.
God damn, that just flew by. I feel like this could have been a 4-hour fucking one, but we'll settle.
Chop it up into a few sessions, few segments.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start going through a little bit more through my book, Breath, because I'm very interested to see how you make out with your own experiment with the Hof technique.
Cool.
Because he's not 100% accepted by the people in the field. So
and I am also open to the possibility that maybe it's not all I think it is, cracked up to be. I only saw one video that was like 10 minutes, and I didn't even finish half of it on why you should not do Wim Hof. And it was just a fucking idiot just talking out of his ass, and clearly he was like, well, like, you breathe too much oxygen could be a thing, right? And it's just beyond. Like, I lost brain cells, I couldn't finish it. But then there's like another video that's like, doctor dissects the Wim Hof method, and something like that I could take more seriously. But this was just some random fuckhead,
Exactly. But I have to stay with, on top of that too, since I've got a few people like you and now a couple of my other people who are interested in it. I just don't know why it's been around for a long time. Suddenly he's getting some interest. And I think part of it might be because the book Breath talked about it in a sort of neutralized way, but they mentioned it.
Yeah.
And I think that helped them, people pick up a little interest in it. And the whole idea of, breathing exercises and meditation and, the strategies for dealing with the pandemic, you always see those included, that maybe people just started looking more into the whole, all that stuff. Like breathing exercises, meditation, yoga, and came across some of his work. And it didn't hurt that he got somebody did a TV spot on it. Did you see the TV spot?
Nah.
I don't know if it was 60 Minutes or someone that did like a short 15-minute special on what he did, his stuff. But anyway, he was a sideshow at one point, but he's not a sideshow anymore.
Word. Can I take 2 quick shots to wrap us up?
Yep, go.
God damn it, I lost the first fucking shot. The second shot was gonna be the singing. Oh, now I remember. That thing you were telling me about promotion and getting the word out there, is anything moved on that front?
No, because I need to send something out.
Okay.
The guy loved it. The one had too many F-bombs, although he likes the F-bombs and knows that they're part of the podcast. They make it, and I haven't gotten them out to the right people yet, but I'm working on it, okay?
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Let's see if this one comes out really good quality, okay?
Yeah, and
I still agree with you in terms of the best ones, the ones that we thought were the best.
Yeah, but yeah, I can cut back on my F-bombs. I don't care.
Well, there was today's session, was nothing I would even notice.
Except when I was talking about the first agenda item, huh?
What was that?
The family fight.
Yeah, in terms of
we'll listen back on the tape, but maybe I'll keep a counter.
What's that?
I said I'll listen back to the tape because I wasn't paying any attention to how many times I was saying the F-bomb, but maybe I'll go back on the tape and I'll keep a counter.
Well, it wasn't like anything I would have noticed, but on one of them, toward the end, you were running with him, and he just thought that for advertising for his company, that might have been things he would have edited a little bit.
Oh yeah, I know. I definitely go. I'm not super friendly to the advertisers. I get that 100%. When we pick up, I'll take it more seriously, I swear.
It was at the very end anyway.
Yeah.
But he understands there because he listens to a lot of podcasts. They're an essential part of it. And the part about you looking for identities, one of the first times I sent this out to a former patient who listens to podcasts, he liked you and he liked the way you talked and so forth, and he got a real kick out of that. So what I was saying is to develop your own identity and let it evolve instead of, digging on someone else's. But we can talk more about that, okay?
Yeah, all I wanted to say on that was that I didn't list those people saying, here's who I need to be like.
Right.
In my mind, it's like I already have different elements of those people in myself already, and I'm like a fusion of all of them. I'm not like any singular one of them. I'm like, I'm just a collection of everything I listen to, man. That's all who I really am at the end of the day,
Excellent. And
Alright.
I'm going back over. I had a real busy, extremely busy 2 weeks professionally, so I didn't give this as much attention as it needed, but I'm going to go back and listen to a few things, okay?
Cool.
So let us say goodbye, all right?
Singing.
Till next time.
Alright, thank you for listening, everyone. Hit that singing bowl, Bob.
Sing away.
Peace out, y'all.
Yep. Peace out.